Bayswater, Jack Allen, Dean Cummings, Zed Farah, Stephen Heskett, Todd Howard, Devon Lindemann, Darryl Nichol, Luke Salmon, Gordon Smith, David Stoko, and Declan Hughes. The lineup for Perth Soccer Club: Jordan DeLeo, Michael Dunphy, Jaden Gordon, Alexander Jovic, Ryan Montgomery, Jackson Morgan, Yaqub Mustafa, Sasa Gavich, Bogdan Redinovich, Alex Siller, and Thomas Southgate.
And welcome back to the WA NPL 2020. It's been a bit of a wait. And welcome to Frank Drago Reserve for this Friday night blockbuster between Bayswater City and Perth SC.
Chris Coyne.
It is round one, take two of the 2020 WA NPL season, set against a backdrop of COVID-19, a global pandemic that has swept the world. You might have heard about it. We are set for our first taste of the new normal, our first match of the restart, a glimpse, we hope, at the golden sky at the end of the storm. And you simply couldn't ask for a better fixture to kick us off. The two heavyweights of the competition since its rebranding to the NPL in 2013. Since then, the champions were 2014 Bayswater, 2015 Bayswater, 2016 Perth SC, 2017 Bayswater, 2018 Perth, 2019 Perth. You get the idea. This is the Derby d'Italia. This is the biggest fixture on the Perth footballing calendar. This is the fiercest of local rivalries. This is Bayswater City versus Perth SC, a mouth-watering heavyweight clash. Perth have landed the big blows in recent rounds, but will not be expecting Bayswater to lie down. The players are ready. The fans are ready. My cameraman's ready. I'm ready. I'm Sean Fry. I'll be calling the action for you today as Perth kick us off and settle into possession. Radinovich spreading the ball over to his centre-half partner today, Thomas Southgate. And Perth early attacking down the right. And that pass a little bit heavy and out of play. Ryan Montgomery will get his first touch of the ball today. He's the captain, the goalkeeper rather, and the captain of this Bayswater side. Shouldn't have doubted myself, I was right the first time. Some very exciting inclusions in this Perth team. They will be happier than anyone that they get to restart. They got a crack at round one and a 2-0 loss to Floriat, and they just get to restart again. For those of you that haven't heard the way the WANPL is restarting, there will be a shortened season, which will then split into a top 6 and a bottom 6 at the halfway point. It's all very complicated, but Bayswater looking to draw first blood. Waiting in the box was Luke Salmon. It never came to him. They tried to cut it back and lost possession. And Perth can attempt to counter. Long ball for Michael Domfay. He might get there. Montgomery came out of his box. Devon Lindemann came out of his box. My apologies. First game. You expect a little rust from the players. You expect a little rust from the commentators as well. Devon Lindemann is the captain and goalkeeper for Bayswater. Ryan Montgomery, his opposite number, up the other end. Jordan DeLeo showing a little bit of that rust on his first touch and his final ball. Could only pick out the Bayswater shirt. Here's a chance again for Domfay, looking to loft it over the top in the direction of Mustafa. Alexander Jovic trying to stand up a ball back post, nobody was there. And Sasha Njajic playing the ball down the line and the back across the box, couldn't find anyone. Here's Southgate again. And Perth Settling into possession at the back. DeLeo looking for the young Jaden Gorman. He was a star of their youth team in the cup final last season. DeLeo looks long down the line. They can't maintain possession. Bayswater looking to play their way out. They don't want to just hit long balls. And Jackson Morgan comes away with it, spreads it wide. Perth looking to attack again. They've had the early running, looking inside there for Mustafa. Exchanging possession over there on the right. Looks to cut inside. And dealt with calmly there by the Bayswater defence. DeLeo knocks it across to Southgate. He gives it to Morgan, who fights hard amongst three Bayswater midfielders and comes away with the free kick. Wonderful work from Jackson Morgan. He's had a club change and a position change this season. He is being entrusted at number 6, a holding midfielder role. They say you shouldn't trust a man with 2 first names, but Perth are doing just that, as Jaden Gorman finds himself offside. Zaid Farah takes the quick restart. And we know world footballing terms, the phrase XG stands for expected goals, but here in Perth it stands for X-Glory. We have an absolute handful of X-Glory players here tonight. Zaid Farah is one of them. Played the under-21s last year. Jackson Morgan scraps and loses out there and staying down. Bit of a concern there for Perth, but Bayswater will play on. And that's a really poor challenge. It looked from the Bayswater number 8. They will get over and check now on Gorman. Sorry, on Morgan. Gorman was the one that went down earlier. And this would be a huge blow, one that Perth certainly don't want this early on to the restart of the new season. Plenty of talking points in this match, even ignoring the recent rivalry of the two teams. As I mentioned, a ton of ex-Perth Glory players. Luke Salmon and Zaid Farah. I'm definitely going to miss a couple, I'm sure. Sasha Nyaich was at the Glory, as was Michael Domfay for Perth. Jovic manages to maintain possession. And there's Jackson Morgan back on his feet. I'll be glad to see that. Radinovic and Southgate cycle possession. Southgate looks long for Gorman. Does well to win his header, but again offside. It's a couple early on for the youngster. And speaking of youth, it is a real battle between youth and experience here. Bayswater quite significantly the older side in terms of average age. They do have a couple of youngsters in there. As we've mentioned, Luke Salmon and Zaid Farah being the standouts. But Perth with a whole host of players in their early 20s. And here is Zaid Farah. Lovely bit of footwork from the youngster. He looks to drive it, Jordan DeLeo. And the ball bobbles around but comes back to Bayswater, snapping into the tackle there. Jackson Morgan, he's looking fine after his earlier scare. Good Mustafa doing his job over there as well. Morgan and Mustafa both represented South Sudan at the African Cup of Nations qualifiers for the 2021 competition. Unfortunately, results didn't go their way. Back at their home clubs. And certainly with an eye on some silverware. Jordan DeLeo finding himself in a much advanced position. David Stocko can only hook it back over his head, and Devon Lindemann clears. Perth coming out quite aggressively, looking to set the tempo. But no real chances to worry Chris Coyne's side of yet. And here's a long ball up to Domfey, who wins it in the air, as he so often does. Nyajic getting it back out to Mustafa. Back to Morgan. Southgate. Again, he's played a few long balls, Thomas Southgate. It's a reasonably dangerous weapon of his. None have come off just yet, but something that Bayswater need to be aware of, his ability to play those long balls, those long diagonals. Has been a regularly used method of attack in these opening minutes. And it's just so great to have football and organised sport back in our lives. We've all seen the games of the Bundesliga, the La Liga, the Premier League with empty stadiums. We've certainly not got that here today. Thankfully, in this state, we have managed to all but wipe out the coronavirus at this stage, but who knows what the future holds. So for the next 80 minutes or so, we'll forget about all of that and we'll just enjoy the football. And there's Jovic looking wide, trying to get it back. Inside, Zaid Farah now takes over for Bayswater City. He looks inside, finds Jack Allen. His long ball is wonderful. Onto the, was it the arm? Not according to the referee. The Perth players appealing for a handball. And in the end, they'll get a goal kick. Montgomery to take it for Perth. He will look in the direction of Michael Domfey. He won't get there. Towering header from David Stocko and a handball. And Perth look to maintain possession again. Here he goes. Bit of excitement from Yaqub Mustafa. Get back out wide, chopping back in, looking for a ball into the box there. The Perth winger, and not being able to make anything happen. A wonderful tackle there from, I believe, Stephen Hesketh. Spent a few years at the Rockdale City Suns over in the, I believe, the New South Wales NPL. And now back at Bayswater. Chance cut inside and fired against bodies by Sasha Nyajic. Back to Radinovic, Morgan. Jovic. Wide, and the cross too close to the keeper. And Jackson Morgan lets fly. Only really a concern for the people that parked their cars a few rows back, that one. Certainly didn't give Devon Lindemann anything to think about in the Bayswater goal. Bayswater early on looking to play out the back from their goal kicks, try and maintain a bit of possession. Jack Allen spreads it across, but they've given away possession, and I think Mustafa frustrated he couldn't maintain possession there and giving away the foul. Darryl Nicholls spreads it wide for Zaid Farah, his ball into the box, just caught with the wrong part of the foot into the arms of Ryan Montgomery. Mustafa looking to turn there and getting blocked off. A free kick for Perth on the right wing. Taken quickly. They'll look to cycle it back to Southgate. Will he look long again? Looks along the deck, nice and direct. Here's Morgan. Radinovic back all the way to his keeper. And Perth showing their intent to control possession and control the game. DeLeo, his ball a little bit risky and a bit of late contact there. Referee allows play to continue with the ball at the feet of Michael Domfey. He twists and turns and looks inside, finds Alexander Jovic, who finds Morgan, who looked to have fouled Darryl Nicholls there, but play goes on. Morgan's collected, or Domfey rather, collected by the goalkeeper. Referee again allows play to go on. Mustafa gets the ball into the box and handled by Lindemann, who again rolls out to the feet. This game just starting to open up a little here. Long ball up to Nickel, looking to cut in, losing out. Sorry, rather, there's Nickel on the ball now, looking for Salmon. I will have to bear with me, the team sheet that I have for Bayswater doesn't have a number 8 on it, so I'll figure that out at half time. It's the first corner of the day for Bayswater. All hands on deck for Perth, apart from Yaqub Mustafa. He's the one line forward left up top. A couple of Bayswater defenders back to look after him. Stephen Hesketh and Zaid Farah tasked with that duty. A punch by Montgomery was not decisive. That clearance was, and certainly a foul there on Mustafa. I think you have to say the referee didn't see that one. Not a lot of doubt about it from anyone sitting around me that that was a free kick, but play goes on and Perth with a bit of space now. Jackson Morgan. He had Njic outside of him, decided to come back inside. It's with Njic now. His shot is scuffed into the lap of Devon Lindemann. And Bayswater can regroup. Here's Declan Hughes. Dropping in deep. Back to Lindemann. David Stocko taking his time on the ball. A bit of room for Hughes to run into as Perth dropped deeper and deeper. He tried to do a little bit too much with it there and was bailed out. And now Bayswater with a chance to Jack Allen. His Strike is wide. Still no real moment of quality to set either team apart just yet. I say it almost every game that I commentate. These first halves in the NPL tend to be the more cagey of the two, and then it tends to open up as the game wears on, as the legs get tired. Stucco and Domfay contest. Or Howarth, rather, and Domfay contest. And Perth win the throw. And Mustafa there not on the same page as his fullback. Chance for Dean Cummings to turn and get on the ball. Back to Stucco, who looks long in the direction of Daryl Nicol. Morgan slides it wide to his fullback and receives it back in a little pocket of space. Gets his head up. Looks to play a 1-2 with Jovic, but they're dispossessed. Radinovic trying to win the ball back there unsuccessfully. Farah looks inboard. Bayswater spread it over to the far side. Nicol lets that one run, tries to get the ball back. Doesn't fall to him, and Farah's clearance to no one in particular, just to ease the pressure. We're approaching halfway in this first half. A lot of the European leagues around the world will be taking a drinks break right now. I can guarantee you we don't need a drinks break here in Perth. It is a frosty evening. I've had a few people question my decision to wear shorts here today, and I'm questioning it myself. Here's Zaid Farah again. He's been dangerous. Youngster against youngster. Farah versus Gorman. Gorman just holds him back, and Bayswater win themselves a free kick. Hughes looks to take it quickly. Indeed he does now. Stucco switches play over to Todd Howarth. Looks long towards another youngster, another ex-Glory man, Luke Salmon. Lovely bit of footwork there from Salmon. Spoke quite a lot about Luke Salmon last year. He was always a dangerous customer, scored a handful of goals. But the coaching at the time, or the talk from the coaches at the time last year, was that he just needed to do a little bit more around the box than just score goals. Bayswater will be happy if he can manage to just do that today. That cross a little bit too close again to the keeper. Montgomery punches it away. Bit of a blind corner over here from my commentary position. And Gorman there just trying to shield the ball and turn, and wins a free kick, which Perth look to take quickly, but the referee says it needs to be taken from the correct spot. In the end, they will leave it for the goalkeeper. And Montgomery looks long again for Domfay. Contest with Stucco. That's going to be a heavyweight duel in the air. Stucco with the height. But when you have the athleticism of Michael Domfay, you're always a chance. Here's Jackson Morgan. Controls the bubble, gives it back to Southgate. Radinovic and Southgate will exchange passes. Always with his head up, always looking for that long pass or that pass into feet. Free kick there for Alex Silla. heavy challenge from the Bayswater defender. Southgate plays that ball into the box. Cleared by Stocko. Just prompting and probing at this stage. Perth still yet to fashion a clear-cut chance. Is Gorman drifting over to the right, started on the left. Not losing possession there. Stephen Hesketh over to take the throw. And down the line. DeLeo looks to get there before Salmon. He does, but his touch was a little bit loose. Bayswater look to attack now. Here's Declan Hughes. He's dispossessed, and Perth find it at the feet of their goalkeeper. Not a lot of pressure coming at the moment from Bayswater, so he soaks up a bit of time, takes a breather, and plays it long in the direction of Gorman. Farah jumping over the top of him. Wonderful little turn there in the midfield from Sasha Nyajic. He finds Gorman, and Gorman's left-footed cross is over the goals and into the car park. Been the story of the first half so far. A bit of class in the build-up, but just not quite that final product in the final third. You'd suggest the team today that performs better in the penalty box is going to be the one with the better chance of winning. Both of these sides have a lot of quality in the middle. The forwards will get chances. It'll just be a case of who can take them. A long ball in the direction of either Domfey or Morgan. Farah gives it to Jack Allen. Composure on the ball from the hard-working Jack Allen. He looks back towards his centre halves. They exchange possession with Declan Hughes and try and play it out to their fullback. And the long ball ends again at the feet of Ryan Montgomery, and Perth can go again. No real pressure on the goalkeepers when they have the ball, which is part of the reason that both teams are happy to play it around at the back, and also part of the reason for this slightly cagey opening. Looking inside for Morgan there, who does really well to win that against two. I'm not sure why it had to come back there, as Dean Cummings and Declan Hughes both hounded the Perth midfielder, but he came away with the ball. Referee stopping play, and we kick it off again. Radinovic and Southgate, probably the two players on the pitch that have had the most possession in the early stages. That ball over the top, looking for Nickel, not getting there. And here's Morgan. Nyajic looks for Gorman. He does well to keep that in. And here's Morgan again for Domfey. Run into a heavy challenge from Declan Hughes. Referee allows play to go on, but stops it there. It's the two number 7s exchanging some bumps in the middle. Daryl Nickel and Alexander Jovic. Salmon and DeLeo do battle in the air. DeLeo judged it better. Gorman couldn't control it at the ground and then fouls Luke Salmon. And another free kick for Bayswater. They've had a few set-piece opportunities. haven't been able to find the right connection. Todd Howarth on the set piece for Bayswater. The left footer looking to curl it in the direction of Ryan Montgomery. You aim for the goalkeeper's chest on these and get a touch. They almost do. That comes off a Bayswater player last, in the opinion of the referee, and it'll be a Perth goal kick. As Daryl Nicol questions the decision. Perth on their goal kicks have been happy to look for Michael Domfay. That's why. Such a threat in the air. It often leads to a battle for possession. If Bayswater can get on top there, could be a route back into the game for them. Salmon asking for this on the far side, trying to find a pocket of space. He is ignored. And the ball will come back to David Stoko. He looks long, and I'm not sure exactly who for. Perth take over again. Southgate looks long again, and this one a little bit wayward. Giving Morgan no chance. Zaid Farah with the throw in and looking to turn there. Dean Cummings giving away possession. Finds it back at his feet now, the ex-Stirling man. And they pick up a foul. You do get the sense that Bayswater are just turning the screw now a little bit, applying a little bit more pressure, feeling their way into this game. And passes like that are certainly not going to help. And here goes young Alex Silla. Looks wide. Chance for Mustafa, wonderful tackle. Sensational last-ditch defending from the big man, David Stoko. Just refused to give up on that one. A wonderful bit of play, and Alex Silla showing how dangerous he can be with a bit of green grass in front of him. What can Perth do from the resultant corner? Not a lot with delivery like that. Long ball there, not to anyone in particular. Ryan Montgomery comes over, and we all love to see a goalkeeper take a throw in. How often do you see that? The last one I can think of was Joe Hart versus QPR on that fateful day for Manchester City. Look at the twisting and turning there. Yaqub Mustafa finds it way back to Nyajic, who finds Morgan. Back to Radinovic, whose pass is stray. That is a poor ball. And it's not to the feet of who you want to give it to. Daryl Nicol finds his teammate who cuts inside, fires it into the feet of Montgomery. Following it up is Nicol, and another save. Wonderful play from Ryan Montgomery. That is absolutely class goalkeeping. Did not give up after the first save, and here's a chance. What a moment this could be for Perth. Nyajic's pass is well cut out. Good bit of goalkeeping from Devon Lindemann as well. He wants to be a part of the conversation, but that was superb from the Perth keeper. And we'll all take a little break after that. I did mention 5 minutes ago you felt like Bayswater were applying a bit of pressure and something might come. It was a really scrappy ball inside. From the Perth defence, and Bayswater were quick to capitalise. break. We are having a little mini drinks break. And if I have to have a guess, apologies if I'm wrong, but I believe on the starting sheet it must be Gordon Smith leading the line for Bayswater. Scott scored a hat-trick against Coburn in the night series last season. Jovic looks wide. Silla. Oh, desperate lunge there from Jovic to keep possession and get it to Morgan. Finds Njajic, his pass cut out by Farah. Farah looks down the line and finds Luke Salmon, a bit of fancy footwork, and plays it down the line to the man I believe is Gordon Smith. Morgan finds himself on the ball. Flick over the top by Njajic. Gorman can't hold on. Njajic does well to get a touch there and wins possession back again. He's been busy. Farah coming through the back there of Gorman and giving away a free kick for Perth in a dangerous position. And another injury worry for Perth here. First game back. It's the first game for a while they will have played at this intensity, and it is a difficult night. It is quite a biting cold. The players will want to be pretty careful. The Bayswater defence will want to be careful here as Jaden Gorman places the ball. And the right footer looking to swing it in. You'd think in the direction of Domfay and Mustafa. Back post, and it was a stray hack at the ball from Todd Howarth. And thankfully the South African in the Bayswater goal was alive to it. He plays it now out to Stoko and gets it back. Again, Perth not looking to overly press, happy to let Bayswater make a mistake. As soon as that ball started bobbling, though, you saw the forwards really switch on that press. With a bit of problem getting it out, cutting inside. Here's Nickel, wonderful ball back, and another save from Ryan Montgomery. He's been the star of this first half. And what a chance it was there. It fell in the end to Luke Salmon, and he skied his chance over the bar. But Montgomery scrambling back again to at least make his presence felt. Certainly wasn't an empty net, but it'll definitely be a chance that Salmon will want back. You do have to wonder about the shorts that young Luke Salmon is wearing, if they didn't have his size available. Not suggesting for a moment that it was his shorts that made him miss that shot, but surely a better fitting pair couldn't hurt. Ryan Montgomery with the ball in his hands. He will place it down and take this goal kick. As I mentioned, he has been the star of this first half. What a fantastic performance. A double save earlier on. And then a wonderful leg save and recovery to pressure Salmon into skying it over the bar. Long ball in the vicinity of Domfay. You won't get there. Stoko commanding it. Smith's ball to Nickel, a little bit loose. And Mustafa finds himself with it at right back. Morgan back to Mustafa. Back to Southgate, and he will just ease the pressure. The long ball. Salmon and DeLeo will contest this one. DeLeo comes out with the ball in his hands. And a quick throw in to Radinovic. And Perth go again. Not long left now in this first half of round one, take two, season 2020. Hesketh just clears that ball there. Oh, wonderful turn and play from Nicol. Smith gets away from Morgan. Looks to Salmon. Salmon turns on the spot. He's got Farah overlapping. Decides not to use him and turns the ball over. Njajic trying to escape there with the ball and ends up being upended and winning a free kick for his side. How big would a late goal be here for either side? This is the time to change the halftime team talks if you can. Radinovic and Southgate exchange possession again. Southgate strides forward. Finds Mustafa. He's got Domfe ahead of him. Took a bobble, did well to get a touch to his striker and gets it back. Here's Silla. Comes back to Mustafa. Much to the chagrin of the Alex Silla fans in the crowd that wanted him to take on his opponent. Southgate looks down the line for Jovic and doesn't find him. Hesketh to take the throw for Bayswater. The score still Bayswater 0, Perth 0. Here's Bayswater loading up for perhaps a final attack. Stoko back to his keeper. And again, just happy to maintain possession, slow things down. There'll be some tired legs out there after the first 40 minutes or so of action. Daryl Nicol trying to make his presence felt. Farah's looked lively in this first half. So to Gorman, but just the quality deserting him at times. Bayswater back line. Still just happy to slow things down, control possession, perhaps see it out to half-time, and perhaps take one more strike at the Perth goal. If an opening comes, don't look to be rushed in any way here. Hughes dropping deep again. Splitting his centre halves, allowing the fullbacks to push on. Here is one of the fullbacks looking there for Dean Cummings, not finding him. A long spell of possession there for Bayswater with not a lot of attacking impetus. There's Mustafa. Speaking of attacking impetus, that's all you get from him. Radinovic. A little bit nervy, but stepping past Luke Salmon and looking to find Mustafa. Gorman is arriving, back post if he can find him. He can! Jaden Gorman opens the scoring for Perth. What a moment for the young man in this NPL round one, take two fixture. That one will change the halftime team talks. Jaden Gorman screaming in back post. He was unmarked. And Mustafa just burned his man for pace and played a ball into the sandpit there. It wasn't a guaranteed goal. The ball can do all sorts of funny things when it gets into those penalty boxes. They're a little bit choppy, but he kept his composure and slid in at the back post to open the scoring here. Huge moment for Perth. Huge setback for Bayswater just before half time. How can they respond? Stucco looks wide for Farah. Made him work, but he gets on the ball there and trying to turn his man is Jack Allen, failing to do so. Conceding the throw in. Delay to take. Looks for Domfay. Finds him. There's the goal scorer Gorman putting himself about. Conceding the throw this time. Goes in a Bayswater direction. Farah to take. Can Bayswater find an equaliser now? Or can Perth double their lead? It's Domfay snatching at it. And Lindemann claims. Finds Stucco. The press is on now from Perth. They're setting higher and higher up the pitch. Perhaps they smell blood. Wonderful flick on from Jovic in the middle. They can't quite maintain possession, and Bayswater look to go forward through Luke Salmon. He's dispossessed but wins the throw. Takes it quickly. Farah now finds it at his feet. Oh, tenacity from Jack Allen. You expect no less from him. Bayswater look to go forward again. Can't maintain possession, and Montgomery clears it out for a throw-in. Poor clearance from Morgan. Comes to the feet of Cummings. Chance for Daryl Nicol. Another chance, well blocked by Southgate. Montgomery does well there. He's hardly put a foot wrong in this first half, and was certainly crashed into. And tempers flaring a little bit on the stroke of half time. Montgomery is still down. It was a heavy collision. I didn't catch who it was with. A couple of Bayswater players going over to check on him. Spot fires look to have been calmed down. It's the referee with a decision here, whether or not to reach for his pocket. And 2 yellow cards shown there to Daryl Nicol and Jordan DeLeo. You'd think in DeLeo's case, it's probably for the afters. Hard to see down in that corner exactly what happened. But certainly Perth unhappy with the challenge on their goalkeeper. And we restart. The man whose foul caused that stoppage, Montgomery, take this kick in the direction of, you guessed it, Michael Domfay, does well to brush off his man. Mustafa looking to drive. Last couple of touches just got away from him, and Stucco hacks it clear, and that's the final play of the first half. A wonderfully competitive first half. The stalemate broken by a Yaqub Mustafa run down the right wing and a squared ball to Jackson Gorman arriving at the back post. He slid in to the desert in that 6-yard box and turned it home for the opening goal. At halftime it is Perth SC 1, Bayswater 0.
Hey mate, what's that black bloke?
And welcome back to Frank Drago Reserve for the second half of this season opener. Jaden Gorman opening the scoring late on in that first half. After a blistering run from Yaqub Mustafa, giving Perth the early impetus in this game and in the title race. Still a long way to go in this truncated season. And really in the battle for the top 6 early on. If you want to be in the hunt to win the league, you have to finish in the top 6, and then we start all over again. The cup places then decided the top 3 teams in the top group. So the top 3 in the top 6 and the top team in the bottom 6. After the second half of the season, we'll play off for the cup. If that's not completely clear for you, don't worry, it's not completely clear for me either. As we await the kickoff of this second half, the players look ready. Linesman jogging out to his position. Bayswater looking to kick us off. I did get confirmation that is the Scott Gordon Smith wearing number 8. Had him as 19 on my team sheet. Apologies for that confusion. He does kick us off now, and we're away in this second half. Bayswater looking to peg Perth back. It is 1-0 at this stage, or 0-1 to be more correct. I can now officially confirm with you that Frank Drago Reserve has had a higher attendance today than any Premier League game of the last month. Wonderful turnout. There's the goal scorer, Gorman, giving it away there. Luke Salmon and Zaid Farah, a few of the bright young sparks of this league, all within about a metre radius of each other. Farah looks to fire it in, and Jackson Morgan clears. Farah again, looking to get past. Gorman just clipping his ankles there, and Bayswater a free kick in a dangerous position. Early chance here to peg back the champions and the current league leaders. Hesketh, the left footer again, looking to whip one in. Very dangerous area, goes in low and hard and cleared at the front post. Sorry, it was a Stoko there, it looks like, taking that free kick. And Hesketh is back on halfway. Ball whipped in. Oh, a volley and a deflection from Morgan has come off the post. It was Jack Allen who struck the ball, and Morgan threw a foot out at it, and his intervention perhaps saved a goal, but so nearly caused one. It's that ball lobbed over a helpless Ryan Montgomery. I mentioned he was superb in the first half, part of the reason that Perth have the lead, certainly the main reason they have a clean sheet. And away Perth go again here on the counter-attack. Here is Mustafa, he's going to go. He's got Greengrass ahead of him. Oh, and the last man that could possibly intervene was Hesketh, and he did so wonderfully. A fantastic tackle to keep the lead at 1. Things just starting to open up here. A few Perth players finding themselves in between the lines now. One of them is Sasha Nyajic. His ball into the box for Michael Domfay. He just couldn't sort his feet out and get a meaningful contact on that. Bayswater looked to go the other way, but Numbers back for Perth and not a lot of numbers forward for Bayswater. Just early warning signs for both sides. It could so easily be 1-1, could so easily be 2-0. Bayswater with the free kick. Short for Cummings and back to Hughes. And they turn it over again. Domfay winning the ball back. And here's Nyajic again. Feeding Gorman, the goal scorer. The only goal so far in this game. Perth throw in back to Gorman. Tries to go past Hesketh and can't. Wins his side a corner, I believe. Corner taken short. Here's Jovic. Lofts a ball into the box in the direction there of Bojan Radinovic. Took a deflection off a Bayswater defender on the way, and it'll be another corner. A lovely little lofted chip there. Didn't look like there was much on, but very nearly fashioned a chance. Out to Morgan. He's got a bit of space. If it sits for him, it doesn't quite. He scuffs it wide. It's a big test here for Bayswater in this second half. I mentioned the difference in age between the two sides earlier in the first half, with the exception of a few. Farah, Salmon, et al. The majority of these Bayswater players 30 or above. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I know I certainly don't have the legs I did when I was in my 20s. We'll see if the Bayswater players do. They're certainly a lot fitter than me, I'll give you the tip. Here's Nyajic looking forward for Mustafa, the architect of the opening goal. He loses possession, but wins another corner. So after that first little flurry from both sides, it has been Perth asserting their dominance in this first 5 or 6 minutes. And that ball in didn't even make it to the near post. Hit the man on the edge of the penalty box and out for a throw in. Gorman battles and Perth win a throw. Mustafa had Nyajic back down the line, didn't want to use him. It now ends up in the hands of Nyajic. Here's Morgan, a bit of fancy footwork. And Kieran Colwell looks like the half-time substitute for Perth. Must have missed that one. I believe Alex Silla has made way. I believe that's the only substitution at half-time. It's the only one I can see, certainly. We'll keep you up to date if I notice any more. Farah wins the ball there for Salmon. He looks inboard. Hughes comes back to Howarth. Colwell with the throw in. Jackson Morgan. Back in the vicinity of Sasha Yates, just had his feet taken out from him by Jack Allen. Enough for a free kick. And nothing more is Southgate. As mentioned, he loves a long ball. And there's another one over the top. Wonderful accuracy on that pass to Jaden Gorman. He wins another corner for Perth. Majority of this game, or this half rather, being spent down in that corner. As Perth hunt for that second goal. And a bit of breathing space. Ball into the box, over the top of everyone. Mustafa lurking at the edge of the box, makes the exit a little more difficult, and Morgan mops up and Perth maintain possession. Certainly looking the stronger side in this second half, Perth SC. Bayswater with a real fight ahead of them. There's Mustafa just shrugging off his opponent with ease, and then running into the second man. Referee said his going to ground was of his own making and allows Bayswater to go forward, but that pass just delivered into the feet of Southgate, who brings it away. Through Nyic, who wants it back from Domfey. He refuses to give it back and loses out to Daryl Nicol, and then fouls him after he loses possession. Well, for me, so far, this game has lived up to the hype, to the billing. There's been chances at both ends. There's been some wonderful goalkeeping. Perth indebted to Ryan Montgomery really for their lead. And obviously Mustafa and Gorman connected so well. For the opener, remains the only goal so far. Bayswater 0, Perth SC 1 if you're just joining us. Although I'm sure you could just look at the score in the corner of your screen, but I'll do that hard work for you. Howarth comes back to Lindemann. Who lofts a lovely ball out to Zaid Farah at right back. Declan Hughes and Dean Cummings carrying the bulk of the water in that midfield. So far for Bayswater, that pass didn't look too tough for Hesketh to bring in, but the Baysy man couldn't do it. And Perth recover possession with a throw in at right back. Morgan looks to turn in a questionable area. Gordon Smith comes away with it. Out to Salmon. Couldn't find a way through. Looked to dink a ball out to Nicol, who puts a bit of pressure on. And Bayswater just penning Perth back here. This is more like it from the home side. Here's Hughes. And again, a bit of a sloppy touch there from Hesketh. Been a shaky start to the second half for him, but he maintains possession, and we come back to Stoko. Dean Cummings. Exchanging possession there, getting it back and looking forward, and finds himself on the ball again. And here is Smith driving run on the near side from Hesketh. They go the other way. Salmon has his cross blocked, but it's another Bayswater corner. And a chance to square the ledger. The looming presence of David Stoko makes his way into the Perth penalty area. Delivery has not been too spectacular on any of the corners from either side so far tonight. Looking for something better here. Over Stoko's head to the back post and completely missing it there. Was everyone in sky blue, that particular Jackson Morgan Really should have done better. Long ball over the top there from Hesketh, looking for Salmon, and claimed by Montgomery. And Southgate can bring away. Nickel retreats and allows him to carry the ball forward and find Mustafa. Always dangerous. He looks forward for Domfay. Should be two. Oh! Just took it onto his left and lost his footing at the vital moment. Should really be 2-0 to the Azzurri. Another substitution. This time for Bayswater, it looks like it will be Jason Mirko joining the fray. And Gomo Jakuli as well. Embrace yourselves for it. Another ex-Glory man. Didn't quite catch the departures for Bayswater. But Mirko and Jakuli on. Looking to change the game. It looks like perhaps Gordon Smith has come off. Salmon has gone to the central striker position and Gomo Jakuli will take up his position on the right wing. And he will get a chance to run at it now. It's a dangerous ball. Jakuli in the area. Montgomery deals with it. Comes back out and with the keeper off his line. The other substitute, Jason Mirko, decided he'd have a go. Went for power when placement was the order of the day there. But when it's your first touch and it comes to you 35 yards out and the goalkeeper's off his line, not the easiest position to be in. Montgomery long again for Domfay. Lovely little flick on. Mustafa's in the vicinity, but it rolls too far in advance of him, and Lindemann claims. Stoko under pressure there from Domfay. Gets it wide to Hesketh, back to Stoko. Perth really pressing here. But Bayswater, for a moment, looked like they'd broken the press, and they certainly have now. Here's Luke Salmon looking forward for, you think, Jakuli. But he was not on the same hymn sheet as the new central striker for Bayswater. Here's Yaqub Mustafa again. Battles with Farah. Farah does enough. Bayswater look to come away, but Perth maintaining that press so high up the pitch. Here's a chance for Nyeich. He looks for Domfay, but he's well marshalled. Back to Farah. Farah with not a lot on, and this Perth press is really quite vigorous at the moment. Bayswater struggling to get out, but when you do press this high, it only takes one mistake or one moment of brilliance from a Bayswater perspective to break that press. And he's Luke Salmon fouling and unhappy with the decision. And then a bit of an argument about where the free kick should be taken from. I think technically Luke Salmon is correct. The ball was about 5 yards further back from where Thomas Southgate wanted to take it. And now the handbags are put away and Southgate can restart. So really struck by the intensity of this opening quarter of an hour from Perth Soccer Club. Can Bayswater answer? I've made a couple of substitutions, some fresh legs on. And Jack Allen twisting and turning and looking down the line. Turning the ball over again. And Perth looking to strike now through Kieran Colwell. Looks inside, cut out well by Declan Hughes, and Bayswater recycle possession. Some lovely little 1 and 2 touch play from the home side. Looks long down the line towards Jukuli. Referee tries to allow play to go on, but eventually brings it back. Here's Cummings taking it quickly. Looking to get it back, but stepping forward was Nyaich to take over. Back to Colwell. Colwell, a lovely little dance inside, but his touch was too heavy, and here's Gomo Jukuli. He's been a bit of a live wire since coming on. Speaking of live wires, here's Jason Mirko. His ball in is wayward, and Perth can take another breather. The score remains Bayswater 0, Perth 1. The closest Bayswater came to redressing the balance was a Jack Allen volley that looped off of Jackson Morgan and then off of the base of Ryan Montgomery's left-hand goalpost. And up the other end, Mustafa played in Michael Domfey for what might have been his second assist of the day. But Domfey on his left foot fired over. It's been excellent today. Yaqub Mustafa comes away with it again. Lovely ball in for Domfey. His final touch just let him down. And as Cummings tries to come away with it, he is fouled again. Pressed out of possession, trying to leave their own half. And here's a strike from Gorman. And another strike from Gorman after the first one rebounded back to him. He's got a bit of confidence after that opening goal. Here's Todd Howarth on the ball. Brings it in for Hughes, who finds Cummings. They find it back to Stoko. Just a moment for Bayswater to control possession. That Perth press has just eased slightly. Certainly not the type of intensity you can keep up for an entire half. And Bayswater appear to have weathered the storm slightly, but that's not going to help their cause. Very stray pass. Southgate looking to get things moving quickly. Always has his head up, always looking for that ball over the top, and a bit of a hacked clearance there from Howarth. But Lindemann makes good on that. Farah looks back to Lindemann. Tests out the touch of his goalkeeper, who was more than up to the task. Stoko carries away. And now switches to Zaid Farah in a little bit of space. Allen, Hughes, back to Stocko. Looks long and direct along the deck in the direction of Luke Salmon and Gomo Jukuli, but they turn it over. Colwell back to Southgate. Into the feed of Nyaich. He's been a hard-working part of that Perth midfield today. And here goes Mustafa. Didn't see the tracking run of Declan Hughes, who threw in a little step over and a drop of the shoulder. Nice bit of class from the Bayswater midfielder. Here's the substitute, Jukuli. And Hughes again, looking to the feet of Salmon. Playing a 1-2 with the former Perth Glory under-21. Speaking of, here's Zaid Farah. And his touch lets him down. Halfway through this second half, Bayswater 0, Perth 1. Chances at both ends. This one is far from over. Farah a little bit lazy there with that throw in. Nyaich, he's got men either side of him, he's fouled. The referee not allowing play to carry on there. And a free kick in a real position of danger now for Perth. Then the young goal scorer, Jaden Gorman, looks keen to take this one. Sasha Njajic involved as well. And what can Perth conjure from here? 25 yards out. It is Njajic, and he does test Lindemann, but not with the power required to beat the man between the sticks for Bayswater. Both goalkeepers have had their moments. The score could easily be higher on both sides. And here's the Perth corner towards Southgate, cleared. A chance now for Domfay at the back post arriving, and he can't win it, and Bayswater can counter. Jakuli up ahead on his bike. He gets it now, looks to turn, but he's dealt with wonderfully well by Jordan DeLeo. And Farah pounces. Salmon in a bit of space. Njajic snapping at his heels. He comes back to Farah. Cummings finds a bit of time to turn on the ball and find Daryl Nicol. Just popping up in that number 10 position. And just poor bit of play there from Hughes. Bailed out by his goalkeeper. Quick to play that sweeper keeper role. But get the ball out of danger, Devin Lindemann. Perth wanting another foul there, but Bayswater will be the one to get one after that challenge from Jackson Morgan. Just coming through the back of the Bayswater player there. And Stucco. That's Howarth. Little 1-2 in the midfield there, and it comes out to Zaid Farah. Back to Lindemann. Back to Stucco. Still plenty of time for Bayswater to find this equaliser. Jakuli plays a little 1-2 with Hesketh, and he couldn't find Nicol inside. Southgate carries away again for Perth. His ball's cut out by Farah, and now it finds the feet of Nicol. Salmon can drive, looks to go outside, and he's marshalled off it well by the Perth defence. Southgate doing the job and then giving him some afters while he was on the ground, which was very unnecessary from Thomas Southgate. Certainly, as the fans clamber down to the fence to see a whole lot of handbags being thrown and not much else. You would think Southgate will receive a word from the referee. He certainly put a knee into Luke Salmon, whose challenge itself was arguably a little overly vigorous. The referee consults with his linesman. You make the decision at home. I would say it was a firm but fair challenge from the young Bayswater man, and probably a yellow card and nothing more for Southgate. And that will be the case. He will give Salmon a yellow card as well. It's sort of one of those ones where you wonder if Southgate doesn't react. Probably neither player gets booked. But because he does get a bit upset about the tackle, the referee feels he has to book him for that, and then in the end decides to book the youngster as well. But once again, handbags away, we can restart. Oh, we will shortly, in any case. Ball in the hands of substitute Kieran Colwell at right back, waiting the referee's whistle. And when all's said and done, Perth probably more than happy to take a little sting out of the game for a couple of minutes. Domfay and Farah. Farah actually winning that ball there into the middle of the pitch. Bit of a job for Salmon to do now against Colwell. He does really well. Young Luke Salmon keeps the ball at his feet, waits for backup. Backup arrives in the form of Daryl Nicol, but he doesn't need him. He gets fouled. And Kieran Colwell offered him a hand up, which was ignored by Luke Salmon, whether or not he knew about it. Only he will know. Todd Howarth, the left-footed Bayswater man over this one. Out swinger. Clicked in. Not dealt with by any conviction. That's a wonderful tackle from Jack Allen on Jaden Gorman. An absolutely sensational tackle that may have saved his side a goal. Here's Jakuli cutting inside and Jackson Morgan deals with it and Perth can go now. They've got numbers forward. They've got Yagub or Michael Domfay in an advanced position. Yagub Mustafa arriving at the back post. They end up retreating and Bayswater can come away with it. Jakuli back doing his defensive duties this time. Punches thrown, metaphorically of course, from both sides in this second half, but neither side yet to land a knockout blow in the case of Perth SC, or the blow that brings them right back into this in the case of Bayswater. It remains 1-0 to the visitors as we tick into our final quarter of an hour, plus stoppage time of course. Howarth swings a ball all the way back to David Stoko. And he looked to get it back off his centre-back partner. Hughes drops again in between those centre halves, takes it and turns. Confident on the ball, Declan Hughes. Here's Luke Salmon again, finding himself heavily involved in this second half. Hughes, forward for Nicol. Nicol wide for Jakuli. He's got men inside. Jack Allen's made his way forward. He'll exchange passes with him now. And just not quite on the same page. Gomo Jakuli. Little back heel flip from Jack Allen. We have a man down for Perth inside the penalty area. And it looks like they are calling for a substitution, so clearly not something that they can run off for Yagub Mustafa. He's been so good today. Oh, it's not Mustafa, it's Jackson Morgan. He has also been good in that holding midfield position. And a very important player for Perth. It'll be interesting to see how they go replacing him. And Lee Morgan. So Jackson Morgan off and Lee Morgan on. Like for like, you could call it. Domfay winning ahead of there against Howarth, but Bayswater go forward but lose possession. Here's Morgan, or Gorman rather. There's Morgans everywhere, there's Gormans. It's a commentator's nightmare. Yeah. Bayswater looking to just find a hole in this Perth defence. There have been shaky moments, particularly from crosses and balls into the box, that haven't been dealt with too much confidence. That one, again, just a few nerves in that Perth back line, but they've done the job so far. They've done it well, in truth, as Nickel looks to contest with Njic there. In the end, waits for the help of Hughes. Southgate finds it at his feet. Here's your good Mustafa. Sliding in Jack Allen, winning possession high up the pitch for Bayswater. Now looks into the feet of Cummings. Can't take possession. Southgate looks down the line for Michael Domfey, who works really hard to get there. Such an intelligent striker. Works very hard across that front line in central and drifting wide. And Farah just took his eye off that one. Mustafa plays it back to Ryan Montgomery. Still my shout for man of the match so far. Hope I haven't put the commentator's curse on him there, as Daryl Nickel gets it at his feet and looks to take on a couple. Geez, he had a lot to do and he did really well. Comes out to Cummings. He looked to get the ball on and was cut out, and I think Perth will come away with the free kick. The third substitution coming up here for Bayswater. And it looks like it will be Gustavo Marolunda. Somewhat of a hero in these parts, the Colombian. 2009 to 2016. He was at Bayswater, and if Wikipedia is to be believed, 193 appearances and 148 goals. Can't argue with that kind of return. They dearly love number 149 from him here today. Howard's looping head up. Finds a feed of Gorman, who's dispossessed by Jakuli, and Jakuli kicks out, and there might be a few more spot fires here. He did not connect with the Perth man, but certainly lashed out. And the way he's handled everything else, he'll usually pick a yellow card out of the fracas, the ref. Certainly lucky he didn't make any contact there, Gomo Jakuli. He gets away with a yellow card. But it was a petulant little lash out from the substitute. And not something you want to see if you're Chris Coyne on the Bayswater bench. Still plenty of football to be played, and certainly going a man down against this Perth side would just about be game over, you'd think. Just a risk you don't need to take. Farah looks to take that one in on his chest, but Colwell gets it away. And Allen comes in and mops up off the feet of Yaqub Mustafa. Domfey gives an option down the line with a long throw. It comes in his direction. His touch handled by Njic, but that ball far too far in front of Domfey for him to make any meaningful contribution. Bayswater continue their search for an equaliser in this second half. 7 minutes and stoppage time to play. Still time, for Perth to make it 2. Domfay steps on the ball, but the rebound is followed up and saved wonderfully by Lindemann, but back post now, Mustafa. Oh, gee, there's a lot of action. Oh, I think it was the substitute, Lee Morgan, who the first chance came to. His chance was saved, and then Yaqub Mustafa had a real chance to bury Bayswater. He didn't take it. Will Perth end up ruining that missed opportunity? They've had a couple now. A couple of chances to put the game to bed, and the Bayswater crowd now stirring. Nickel finds the feet of Gustavo. They exchange possession. It ends out with Zaid Farah on the left. Here's Gustavo again. And Nickel decides to snatch it off his foot and drive it at goal, but in the end, wayward from the Baysy man. A lot of attacking threats on the pitch now for Bayswater. Maralunda, Nickel, Salmon and Jakuli, the main four, the front four, fighting for at least a point here against this Perth side. Ball comes back to Domfay. Free kick for a push, and Domfay, ever the professional, just kicking the ball away to chew up a few seconds. Farah now looking to drive and gives it back out to Hughes, and the referee happy to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he anticipated contact, so doesn't book Hughes for a dive, but doesn't give him a free kick either. It'll be a throw in. He gets the hurry out from the referee. He'll be wanting to get the ball in play, or it'll be another booking, you would think. Back again in the hands of Colwell. This time he's a bit quicker, because he had Mustafa in a bit of space, but his touch was loose, and Bayswater get possession again. Cut out that time in midfield. Back to Lindemann. His ball's long and high. The wind takes a hold of it. Farah and Jakuli can raffle it. Jakuli takes it away. And Hughes, opportunity to turn, but no one in an advanced position of him. Ready to take the ball. Jack Allen spreads it wide. Wonderful pass from the midfielder. Let Perth come away with it again, but a sloppy pass there, and Allen takes away possession once more for Bayswater. Mirko retreating, was fouled. The referee doesn't see enough advantage to allow play to continue. Bayswater take the free kick and take it quickly. Hughes for Stocko, for Howarth. Plenty of ball at the back at the moment, but it's not where they need it. And Montgomery will run onto this loose ball and will take his time picking it up. All the way for the Salmon to swim upstream and put him under pressure. He now places it on the ground as soon as Salmon turns his back. Bit of gamesmanship there. The header forward, Salmon, is offside. He'll allow Southgate to take it unchallenged. Ball forward for Jakuli, that time hacked away by Colwell. Hughes for Nickel, back for Stocko. And he'll look wide for Mirko. Little wonderful left foot chip. And the ball now at the feet of Gustavo. His ball inside is cut out by Southgate. Farah puts a little bit of pressure on Jovic there. Perth just dealing with all the threats they have to at this stage. Bayswater struggling to find a way through, but it only takes one moment. And here's a chance. High up the pitch, they've got numbers forward. Here's Jakuli. Jakuli comes inside, looks for Nickel. Nickel's fouled, and a real chance here. A real position of some danger for Bayswater, or the danger for Perth. A Bayswater free kick from right on the edge of the D. And Luke Salmon's picked up the ball and he's heading straight for that free kick spot, looking like a man who wants to take this. But he'll have some competition. You would think it'll be between Maralunda, Salmon, and perhaps Howarth. I can't quite see who the third is. But the way Luke Salmon picked up that ball and walked over to that spot, he's the one that wants it, and he's basically turned everyone away. Oh, and that's why! That is why! Luke Salmon with a stunning free kick squares the ledger. It is Bayswater 1, Perth 1. What a moment. From the moment the free kick was given, the young man picked up the ball. He turned away the experienced head. He said, Gustavo, I've got this. And boy, did he. What a moment for Luke Salmon. What a moment for Bayswater in this season opener. You felt Perth were in control. In just the last few minutes, Bayswater started to ask a few questions. There's been a few substitutions, have added a bit of life to the home side. And Frank Drago reserve erupts. Bayswater City 1, Perth SC 1. This game has had everything you could ask of a season opener. Friday night, under the lights in Bayswater. And a late equaliser as we tick into stoppage time. Well, there will be another momentary drinks break. And Perth are rattled. Luke Salmon free kick off the base of the right-hand goalpost. And in. What a moment. Oh, and a stray back pass there from Todd Howarth. Just had enough legs to get to Lindemann. And can Bayswater take 3 points now? Hughes, they are the team with the impetus. Hughes looks for Jaculi. Bounces off a couple of players. Zaid Farah looking to win it back. He can't, but it is a Bayswater throw. And Hughes looking to take it quickly. Finds Maralunda, takes it back off his feet. Declan Hughes has a bit of time, stands it up, left foot, back post. Hacked at by Mirko. Perth clear, Bayswater with the ascendancy now. In control at Frank Drago reserve. Hughes, back post, arriving, Mirko, back post again, and this time they can't find the back of the net. He saw it late. He saw it late. Did I believe it was Daryl Nicol? Wow, what a moment that would have been. Back to the feet of Jack Allen. Bayswater really probing. What a performance this has been these final 5 or 10 minutes from the home side. DeCooley fires across to Nicol. Scuffed his shot, but it was deflected clear for a corner. Bayswater can sniff the 3 points. They can smell the upset. They can smell the blood in the water. And they are looking for the kill here. No suggestion of Bayswater being happy with a point against the champions. They want all 3. Howarth to take what may be the final corner of the match. It stood up to the back post. Men on the ground, it looks like Salmon out there again. He takes a touch past him and goes down. Neither linesman nor referee interested, and in truth, the player himself didn't even appeal. And Perth can breathe. They've been in control for so long in this game. For large parts, they had the lead for the majority. And now they find themselves spending most of their time defending these final stages of the game. But Southgate on the ball now. Looking forward. And Yajic leaves it for the substitute. And Perth somehow maintain possession. That ball doesn't quite fall for Mustafa. It may fall for Domfay. Shot and deflection, and now a Perth corner. Their chance for some late drama. Gorman over to take. Just Maralunda forward for Bayswater. Everyone else in the Perth penalty box. Ball in over top of everyone, and that'll be a goal kick, and that may just be all she wrote for this one. We have had a few stoppages, but we are now into just about 5 minutes of extra time by my watch. There can't be long left. Do we have a final twist in the tail? If we do, you wouldn't be surprised if this man's the architect of it. Yaqub Mustafa stands up. Zaid Farah goes past him. His final touch was a little bit heavy, and the clearance from Hughes ricocheted off the Perth man and out for a goal kick. I was just about to say there can't be long left. There is no time left. What a curtain raiser, what a season opener we've had on the second attempt after the first was derailed by COVID-19. We are back, and we are back with a bang. A wonderful performance by Bayswater in that second half. Perth showed their class throughout, but Bayswater stuck with it. They were fantastic in that second half, and you felt like they were the team more likely to snatch a winner. In the end, it is Jaden Morgan's goal in the first half, cancelled out by Luke Salmon, two of the young rising stars in this competition, scoring the goals. It ends honours shared, 1 point apiece. Bayswater 1, Perth 1.